My name is Vera Culley. I'm a child protection consultant, and I'm the producer and presenter of Child and Society. Today, I'm going to be interviewing one of our big names in Nigeria, Her Excellency, Dr. Mrs. Sarah Jubril.
Good evening.
You're welcome, ma.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming to my program. I really appreciate.
My pleasure.
As you know, we have Child and Society has been discussing issues around how children are raised, how tomorrow's future children are raised, the impact on children if they were not inculcated, if cultural, ethical, and moral values are not inculcated into them as they grow up. As you know, it's very important that children grow up with certain value systems. And in Nigeria, we have found that a lot of young people go through the system, and some of them are not exposed to positive role models. I'm going to be interviewing Dr. Mrs. Sarah Jubril today, who is in charge of the ethical value of work in Nigeria. So she's going to be answering some of these questions to us so that the public will get to know the importance of ethics, value in bringing up children. If you want a good society, I'm sure you viewers believe that a good society must have good people running it, and that in Nigeria, a lot of children go through the system and become managers in the office and become politicians without proper foundation. And whether that accounts to the chaos sometimes that we have, I'm not sure, but we're going to find out today. But one thing we know is that developmental theories have made us understand the importance of these values as you grow up, if you're going to have good society. So, Your Excellency, I'm going to ask you to help me and help the public look at the importance of ethics and value when you were looking at young people in society, and to also help us to see whether adult role models are projecting those values that makes a man, a child, a community, a society to become what it should be. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, my sister. It's quite a great pleasure to be on your program today. Thank you for inviting me. By inviting my humble self, you have recognized what His Excellency, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, has envisioned and has established. This office, which is a great revival of what possibly has been forgotten in Nigeria during the President Shagari's administration. Although short-lived, he had the Ministry of Ethics and National Integrity because he foresaw the danger. But quite a while, we were yet to have, after that, a department that will actually look into the issue of reconsolidating the foundation of the society through not only by the politicians or policymakers, but from the family. And the issue of ethics, we simply put it as ethics is about good character. In Christianity, we say ethics is about righteousness. In Islam, it's about Sharia. Nigeria is a multi-religious country, and therefore it's important for us to understand a foundation, where we are coming from, where we're going as a nation. Therefore, when we're talking about values, it is those good values that are inculcated by the parents, by the community, the religious, traditional rulers, or even the schools, the profession, the trainings, and whatever we do in life, that actually makes us, is the acting of the values that are implanted into the conscience of the child that grows the acting of it, that builds the personality of each individual. And as you go with that, you now apply other related knowledge that gives you a direction in life, because we have the capacity of being teachable, of being changeable, of being developable, as well as being transformable. Transformation is about turning around positively for what is not perfect, what is not, what is corrupt, to that which is good, that which is perfect, that which promotes every positive activities in life. And this is the purpose for which Nigeria has focused on this by Mr. President. But very briefly, we do not like it, and it is not a good situation that Nigeria is counted as one of the most corrupt countries in the world. And this, and for the prevention of corruption, ethics all over the world is now seen as the big elephant, and also the preventer of the corruption. It is the antidote to all the crimes. It is also the medicine for the treatment of the disease, according to World Bank, as corruption is a social disease. If corruption is a social disease, then it must be seen as a disease, and you have the preventive measure. So ethics is the preventer of all the social crises, the problems or crimes, or even the corruption. It is what you use to rehabilitate people. It is the therapeutic process, while it is also the war room against corruption. It is also the immunization laboratory against corruption. So it makes it a kind of social understanding that despite the fact that we have multi-religious, multi-ethnic, multi-political situation in Nigeria, when everybody has the knowledge and well impacted with ethics and civics and moral education, even mentoring, as you have said, civics, ethics, and mentoring, it makes it easier for them to be manageable. They meet their needs. The government is actually telling them, grow holistically and be more effective citizens.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. It's interesting to hear the way you have approached it. Wonderful. I've also been opportune to see one of the leaflets that you've produced, which talks about ethics, values, accountability, standards, integrity, and goodwill. This is from your very office,
yes,
which is very good. Ma'am, I just want to ask you this, to know, in United Kingdom and some other civilized countries, they have collegiate system, whereby the leaders who take on the mantle of leadership, of running a government, of running the system, where they go through training, a particular type of secondary
yes,
school, a particular type of universities.
Yes.
In Nigeria, we do not seem to have collegiate system, which would have been preparing tomorrow's future, where they will go to school and be taught properly ethics, values that makes a man, where their moral development will be developed in such a way that when they then get to a point in their life where they assume political office of running the government, they will have those morals, those ethics that will guide their decision making, that will guide yes, the things they do, that will make them think of the people rather than of themselves. So what I'm trying to say is that in Nigeria, therefore, you have a lot of people who went through any kind of secondary school without properly being trained, tutored, as it were, becoming governors, becoming ministers, becoming local government chairmen. Well, that is why we have a lot of corruption within our system, I will imagine, because it's being run by people who do not have understanding of values, understanding of ethics, understanding of moral, therefore disregard the people that actually elect them to offices.
That is an obvious analysis of the situation. While we have this situation, but I think I'd rather summarize that we are having a very serious, chronic ignorance about the raising of citizens, to understand the meaning of effective living, that would understand about politics. What is politics? What is power? What is leadership? What is accountability? What is goodwill? What is faithfulness? All these are the values we're talking about. And these, you may have people who have gone through the universities that must have done a little bit. But I agree with you, the teaching of humanities has reduced. Not much attention is being given to depth of philosophy. And more so, the teaching of civics and morals from home all the way to teenage levels, secondary school levels, and taking it over with ethics in the tertiary institutions have not been given the adequate attention. Some aspects of the educational departments are working on it, and that's what Mr. President wants us now to now sit down, articulate how we are going to do what Japan or even China did about 200 years ago, that they had a whole national department, the religious body put together to now come up with a national curriculum. So now, for whatever people have been doing, we want to thank them. But for everybody must have what to call autonomous morality. Policing once it would that be police by the police or law enforcement agents. We need to have a national direction so that we start on the same foundation, the same page. What is the child supposed to have in the area of moral education, even by the parents or even civics in the community? What is it that a teenager is supposed to know all the way from school, kindergarten to secondary school, and when they finish in tertiary institutions, so that when they take roles of leadership or responsibilities, even becoming parents, they now know how they are going to come out to perpetuate the society positively. How do you equip the human citizens in the country so they can now have direction and really live more valuable and ethical lives, even if they become politicians? And it is particularly the politicians we are mentioning. As a politician, one is concerned forever that it will need to raise more quality citizens, and that we can set the standard, the criteria that makes a councillor, that makes the governor or the legislator, the senator, the governor, the president, the ambassadors, the ministers, etc.
Exactly. But as it stands right now, a lot of people in governance are people who have had similar orientation. And because they've had similar orientation, which is one of grabbing, you see your dad and your mom taking a lot of grabbing from the public. Obviously, they are orientating you to the attitude of taking. If your parents, for example, are going to negotiate for you to be able to get into a university, it means they are teaching you not to study hard. They are inculcating into you that it's okay because we can buy your opportunity to be in the university. If your parents are negotiating for you to pass exam in order that you have a degree, what are these parents doing? So that's the issue.
That's why. You see, in the process, while the ethics policy is being put in place, we have also initiated the issue of the ethics bill. The National Assembly. We need to have legislative sanctions. We need to have legal sanctions in place, so that by the time with the policy in the country, it means that everybody must know. Setting up these offices on these sectors. The paper I showed you, I don't know whether it is okay. What we're trying to do is to set up this, what we call the talking about ethics, values, accountability, standards, integrity, and goodwill, even through that I've mentioned in our constitution and the values. We are setting up what we call community farms for local people, so that we can teach this practically, whether anybody speaks English or not. And at the community centers, like what we have here, is where you can have evidence of learning all sorts of skills, as from extramural curriculum, etc., even for the parents. So we now have, because another thing we are lacking is the skill of effective parenting. But if we have that in place, but it really takes a lot of planning and thinking by the professionals. But we are in the process of doing, let everybody be told, our people in the diaspora, you are good mentors to teach this And then you need to have what we call community centers, Nigerian community centers.
Yeah.
And then you can deal with these issues from here and relate with us at home.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, I'm going to just try and round up because I've been told here now that time is not on our side. But it's been very nice interviewing you, madam. Just to round up, is to say that we are still working on these ethics and values, you know, for our people, and we support the able mom, doctor, minister, the only and the first woman from Nigeria who vied for presidency in Nigeria, Mrs. Dr. Jubril. She was the only woman who vied for presidency in Nigeria. We are supporting you. We are following your course. As you can see, just before you came in, we have started this program on role modeling for our future children. It is very important, viewers, to know that the ethics and value is part and parcel of us. If you want a good society, you must begin to embrace this seriously. The federal government needs to not pay lip service to this issue, because there is no organization where people become a better people without having the value, the moral, and ethics inculcated in their educational system.
Quickly, before we land up, can I ask you? Because we want to let Nigerians know.
Yeah.
We are focusing on ethics, business development, and security. Right. How they are related, starting from home, and then finally, we've just done a program in the U.S. on this. We have a liaison officer here, Madam Bridget, who will be contacting you, and we're having a volunteer. They're all volunteers, facilitator for ethics and values related initiatives here. So once we do that one, we'll be able to continue what we're doing about child protection, etc. The citizen protection, family protection, national protection. Okay. That would really help everybody.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Child and Family, Child and Society have got a sister organization in Abuja, Nigeria, operating in Abuja, in Benin, and in Delta State for now. The organization is called ChildVoiceNG, in conjunction with Family Support in Nigeria. They are working in the community with children, making them aware of child protection issues. They are working in conjunction with families, strengthening the family values so that parents can become very clear about their expectations in terms of parenting their children accordingly, in order that the children do not get involved in juvenile disturbances. As you know, there are a lot of issues concerning the young people in Nigeria and unemployment. In conjunction with Dr. Jubril's office, we will be developing further services, as she just said, and there will be a conference which will be held in London sometimes in April, which Dr. Jubril will be masterminding. So she will be leading on that, and it will be in conjunction with Child and Family, Child and Society, and FISWA. Thank you very much, viewers. Please stay tuned for next week. Every Saturday we'll be on air at 11:30 to 12, and you can reach us on Twitter on Child and Society at Child and Society. You can email us on childandsociety@gmail.com. You can also telephone us. The telephone numbers will be on the screen now. Thank you, and stay tuned. Nigeria will change. Dr. Jubril have told us today that Nigeria is
teachable.
Teachable.
Nigeria is changeable.
Changeable.
Nigeria is developable.
Developable.
Nigeria is transformable.
Transformable.
So is Africa. So is the entire world.
That's right.
Yes.
So we've heard it all. So we are going to change Nigeria. The basics will be done. Thank you.